So today I'm going to be talking to you about how you can grow your money with little to no risk. And hey, by the end of this video, you will walk away with a few ideas that you can implement into your life immediately. Clearly you're interested in growing your money, but perhaps you might get a little bit nervous, especially with investing into some risky things, such as perhaps starting your own business or investing in the stock market by yourself. And depending where you are in life, let's just say you've been working really hard, saving a lot of money, it would be such a shame to lose everything you've worked so hard for. And that's why I'm making this video. The goal here is to provide you with some options to consider in order to grow your money that, doesn't involve a lot of risk. Now, if this is your first time here, welcome to Bread Chasers. My name is Josh, and I focus on creating content about financial freedom, entrepreneurship, and online business. So if any or all of that sounds interesting to you, please consider subscribing. I make weekly videos covering these topics. So yeah, let's just jump right into this video. So there's three main guidelines that I want to look at. And the first one is liquidity. How quickly are you able to get access to the money? Risk, the possibility of losing your money. And return, how much money can you actually make from these investments? There's two caveats that I also want to mention. So low-risk investments can only make so much money. Don't expect to get rich quick with any of these ideas. Another thing is inflation can erode the purchasing power of money that you've stashed away in low-risk investments. So definitely want to keep that in mind. But to just jump right in, the first way to grow your money without risk is by stashing some cash in a high-yield savings account. Now, while this is technically not an investment, savings accounts actually offer some return on your money. And there's a number of different accounts out there that offer at least a 1.7% annual percentage yield. One that comes to mind is the Marcus by Goldman Sachs. And at the recording of this video, they offer 1.7%. And there are many other options out there. I've seen some savings accounts offer up to 2.3, 2.4. Definitely do some research because some have a minimum deposit requirement and there's some other fine print to watch out for. One great thing about these savings accounts is that they allow you to deposit and withdraw money while earning interest with very few limitations. In my opinion, these are completely safe, no risk, government insured up to $250,000. So you'll likely be compensated even if the financial institution fails. And one negative, though, that I have to mention is that the interest rate is not guaranteed. So the bank actually has the ability to change it at any time. And so the next way to make money without risk is by investing in CDs, so like certificate of deposits, that's what it's called. And this is where you give a certain amount of money to a bank for a fixed period. And you do not get to touch the money until the period ends. But in return, you can actually get a higher interest rate than with savings account. Hey, something I really need to emphasize here is that you are locking your money away to the bank. But the rate can be anywhere from 2 to 4% depending on how long the period is. The longer the period, the higher the rate. Again, completely safe, no risk. The bank has to give you your money back. There are some penalty fees if you have to withdraw the money early, so make sure you don't do that. But again, it's insured by the federal government up to $250,000. Another way you can do this is you can actually do a recurring deposit. But again, if you miss a monthly payment, you'll have to pay those fees. But a huge positive with CDs, unlike the savings accounts, is the bank actually guarantees the interest rate for that entire period. So that's a huge benefit. Online banks are going to have much better rates than your typical brick and mortar bank. And one of the main reasons is, as you can imagine, there are lots of costs associated with having physical branches as opposed to just having an online presence. I know that I mentioned earlier that it can be pretty risky to invest in the stock market on your own, and that's why I recommend investing in mutual funds. So mutual funds are investment securities that allow you to invest in a portfolio of stocks and bonds with just one single transaction. This makes them perfect for like first-time investors. They collect money and a fund manager takes care of everything. And definitely do some research. There's little risk here, especially if you go with a reputable fund. And I will mention that past performance does not always guarantee future results, but at the same time, a big bonus is that the returns can be anywhere from 7 to 14% with mutual funds. And one of the last ways I'm going to mention in this video to grow your money with little risk is investing in bonds. And there's different types of bonds. The first one I just want to cover is U.S. government bonds. And they're pretty safe, again, in my opinion, backed by the government, as long as you hold the bond until maturity. And it can produce about 3% with returns. It depends on the length of time. They usually do like 5, 10, 30 year. But essentially you're lending your money to the government and they will pay you back over time. And another type of bond that you could consider is a corporate bond. So with this, you're lending money to corporations, and again, they'll be paying you back over time. There is a higher chance of default on payment here, especially with smaller businesses. But, again, I feel like it's relatively safe. And the last thing I just want to mention is that a simpler way to just grow your money is just by investing in yourself. Stop making spontaneous purchases and just invest in yourself to make yourself better, if that makes sense. And to wrap up, I highly recommend diversifying your investments and, just don't put all your eggs in one basket. I think that's pretty obvious, but just definitely want to mention that here before wrapping up. But just want to say, thank you so much for watching this video. If you found anything to be helpful at all, please consider subscribing, drop a like, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.